Hi. Okay. I can't believe there are actual people here. I thought that everybody's going to be asleep. It's already 11:20 Pacific, and so that would make it what, 3? 3 Eastern. Oh my gosh. Hi everybody. I'm going to make this quick. I'm just going to give you updates on what has been happening. Let me just go online on Instagram. Okay, and then my dog wants to join. So give me 1 second. All right. Okay. Let's make this quick so in the first part, I'm just going to go through um the information, and then we can do a question and answer or some sort of a discussion after. All right? Okay. So, I guess everybody knows by now that Hanny actually decided to come back to ADOR. So she's going to continue her activities with New Jeans. So for now, we have 3 members locked in: Hein, Herin, and Hani. All H. Okay. Aloha from Hawaii. Hello. Okay. And then Minji is still in discussion. I'm assuming that it's probably a positive one. They're just most likely, this is speculation. They're probably just ironing out some details because they wouldn't have announced it if they don't feel positively about the result of this one. Okay. And then the point of contention is Daniel. So Daniel's contract has been terminated, and it has been terminated by ADOR. So they were the ones who actually terminated the contract. It's not the other way around. And they also stated that Daniel's mother is a key collaborator, meaning she was one of the main personalities that assisted Min Heejin in planning this entire thing, breaching the contract, unilaterally getting the girls to unilaterally terminate the contract, maybe feeding some information. All they said is that she was a key collaborator in tampering allegations against Min Heejin. And then they said that that is not the only reason they are terminating the contract. They're also terminating the contract because she entered into other contracts that conflicts with the exclusive agreement that she has with Adore. And she engaged in independent entertainment activities and committed actions that damaged the reputation and credibility of the company, meaning Adore, and New Jeans. Now, they did give her some time to terminate the contracts that she got into for her to iron it out, but she didn't. And so they are, after that, after the deadline lapse, then they decided that they were going to terminate her contract. She was informed, allegedly, when she got the notification, she was in an event and continued with the event. Now, Adore announced that they are going to file a lawsuit today, and they are going to sue her, Daniel, her mother, and Min Heejin. Okay. Um, they also issued a statement, a formal statement, and you can read that in the, if you have an X account, they posted their statement and they also distributed it to different media companies and publications. So it's probably published by now. I also posted it in Patreon. So part of that statement says this: during our conversations, Adore learned that the members had been receiving distorted and biased information for a long time, which led to many misunderstanding about the company and ultimately led to the dispute. Okay. Both the company and the artist agreed that to restore the love of fans and the public, it would take time to completely resolve this misunderstanding based on accurate facts. Okay. Now, this is the line that's important. Furthermore, we have agreed to have a future opportunity to address the various controversies that arose during the dispute, and we are currently discussing the timing and method of addressing these issues. So Adore is essentially saying, yes, we are going to address it. They are going to talk to the public about it, but they are not firm or definite in how they are going to do it. They certainly aren't saying that they are going to apologize. They just said that whatever conflicts and other controversies arose during this issue with Adore, they are going to address that. It could be a press conference, it could be a documentary. It could be a simple statement. We don't know. They said that they are going to take their time and that they're going to plan it out to make sure that all the issues are going to be addressed. Okay. And I have my take on that, but we will get to that in a bit. Now, the question is, if Adore is claiming that she signed or she entered different types of agreement that breaches her exclusive contract with Adore, what are those? Well, Adore did not say it. They did not state what agreements she entered into that violates her exclusive contract with Adore. However, there are some speculations because she has been visible. She's been visible in the last several months. She's constantly been seen with Sean. Sean is a rapper, formerly of Junishan, a duo, under contract with YG Entertainment. She was also constantly seen with Park Bogum, who is signed under the Black Label, which is owned by Teddy. And also the Black Label is also owned, the majority owner, or not the majority owner. The majority owner of the Black Label is Teddy, but the other big holder or owner of the Black Label is YG Entertainment. Now, Park Bogum is signed under the Black Label. Okay, so she's constantly seen in different events, marathon, um, different not PR events, but charity events, and also Sean have has posted her pictures in those different events, pictures of Daniel. She's often seen wearing Nike almost exclusively. She doesn't wear anything else. So some are speculating that it could be a PR or a brand deal with Nike, probably not an ambassadorship that runs through years. It could, but there are brand ambassadorships like Jungkook and CK and Jungkook and Chanel. Those are formal brand ambassadorship that lasts like a year, 2 years, 3 years. There are also brand deals that is just event focused, or it could be for a specific timing or a specific number of events. For example, Nike could sign someone and say, okay, so you're going to attend and represent the brand for in 5 different marathons, for example, or 10 different marathons. That could also be possible. Okay. So some are speculating that she entered into an ex to with entered into a contract with Nike on her own, not under Adore. Okay. So, and it could be through the Black Label. Okay. So this is another event that she was in. It's also a marathon. And then another thing to consider is that Daniel was actually a former trainee of YG Entertainment. Before she moved to Source Music, she trained under YG Entertainment. And she has spoken about that before publicly. She talked about how hard the training was, about her being there, all of those stuff. Now, there were, although she never confirmed it, some stories that went around is that she was actually brought in to Adore, to Source Music more specifically, by a staff member of YG Entertainment who moved from YG to Source Music. So when that staff member moved from YG to Source Music, then she brought, or at the very least recommended, Daniel. So Daniel actually auditioned and she passed. Okay. She's also one of the most spoken, like she's very, very vocal of her support. I guess all of them were. But she was one of those that were like a fanatic to the point that she was advocating to never ever question whatever Min Heejin says. This is an example. She was in bubble, if not bubble, phoning the app that HYBE created specifically for them. They can actually do a live stream directly to their fans. And in here, she actually says this: what Min Heejin says is always right because it is right. This is one of her famous quotes about Min Heejin. Okay, so people are not really surprised about it. And then the other thing is that she also has a track record of being very vigilant with brand partnerships because allegedly, her deal with Omega actually went to her directly. So they contacted her directly. This is the story, but this is unconfirmed. Initially, Omega contacted Adore, but when all of this chaos started, they went directly to Daniel, and Daniel wanted to sign the contract with Omega directly. And then after, if you would remember, after the contract was upheld through the injunction, when their exclusive contract was upheld through the injunction, not yet with the main case, but through the injunction, then Omega transferred the contract with Adore. That's the story, although unconfirmed. If that is true, then it actually proves that she's very vigilant when it comes to contracts, when it comes to brand ambassadorship. So it is not impossible that she entered into several brand deals outside of her exclusive contract with Adore. Okay. Now, the question a lot of people are asking a lot of people are asking is that the civil court hearing the case of New Jeans versus Adore upheld the exclusive contract. So people are asking, with Adore terminating the contract of Daniel, aren't they breaching the contract? Because the court said, well, it is upheld. The contract is there. Aren't they breaching it? Because now suddenly they're terminating her contract. Okay. Now, the short answer is no. They're not breaching the contract. Before I proceed, let me just say I am not a lawyer. This is just based on my reading, my own conversations with lawyers. So treat this as a part of an initial research. And if don't base any of your legal decisions with what I'm going to be saying, you do need to consult a lawyer. Okay, so this is just a part of an initial research, which you can further by reading on your own or by actually consulting a lawyer. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, so why does it not contradict the court ruling? The civil court ruling did one specific thing. It upheld the validity of the exclusive contract. The court basically said, yep, it is valid. Whatever is written in that contract, it is valid. Okay, all right. So that's clear. That's what the court said. It is valid. So Adore did not breach the contract, therefore, it is valid. That means that the contract exists, it is in place, the contract is enforceable, and its termination clauses and penalty provisions are legally operative, meaning whatever is written in that contract, you can enforce it. So if somebody violates whatever is in that contract because it is valid, you can enforce it. That means if any of the 5 members violated that exclusive contract, whatever penalty is in the contract, they can enforce. Now, in the case of Daniel, they're saying that she violated the contract because she entered into agreements and partnerships without the consent or not through Adore. That's a violation of your exclusive contract. And we will enforce the contract that the court said is valid. Okay. Next. Um, what it did not say is that the contract must continue forever. The court did not say that. That Adore is prohibited from terminating it. They certainly did not say that. And third, that the artist cannot be found in breach. In fact, they did not touch that at all. Remember that when you sue, when a court hears a case, it will only hear a case based on what is being complained on, whatever the case is. In other words, let's take it to the extreme. Okay, let's take it to the extreme. If someone commits homicide, so this is homicide, so it's accident, okay? And you sue that person with murder, but it's homicide, the court cannot say, well, it's not murder, but it's homicide. The court can only say it's not, is it murder or not? That's the only thing that they can say. So it will only hear what is being, whatever the case is. It cannot create its own case. It's a passive court. Okay? So since the court is there to determine whether the contract is valid or not, that's what it determined. But it did not determine whether or not the members breached the contract. It just said, okay, contract is valid. Go on your way. You can enforce that contract. Okay. Next. With this, the opposite is true. Okay. Once a contract is confirmed as valid and terminated, once the contract is valid, termination for breach becomes legally cleaner, not riskier. Okay. Meaning, once the court says it is valid, whatever is in that contract, you can fully enforce it because the court said it is valid. So it gives you even more of a reason to enforce whatever is in that contract. So if they breach it, if the members breach it, then ADOR can actually enforce it. Okay, so let's just go through what the steps that ADOR is taking, the procedures that they are taking. So first, what happened is that the court confirms the exclusive contract, right? Okay, so it is valid. And then now, so everything is done, or the case is done, the contract is valid. And then ADOR said, well, Danielle breached her contract because she entered into contracts without us, not through us. Okay, we did not approve that brand deal or whatever activity she is doing. So that's a breach of contract because according to the contract, it has to go through us. So she breached it. And so they went to Danielle and said, you're going to have to correct this. According to ADOR, they gave her time to terminate all of her agreements, and she did not do it. Okay. The deadline expires with no correction. So ADOR then says, well, we tried to negotiate with you. You violated the contract. In good faith, we actually gave you time to terminate it. You did not do that. And so we're going to terminate the contract. Now, you damaged us. You're going to have to pay us. We're going to sue you. Okay. Next. ADOR, however, it's not so clean for ADOR. They still have to make sure that they are doing it the right way. So, number one, they need to prove that there is material breach, meaning they have to show evidence that Danielle's actions were not minor or technical, that she actually breached the contract consciously. Okay. So she signed a contract. There is paper trail. She actually get paid in some way or another. And that she did it without consulting ADOR ever. And that there was reputation tied to the group or to the company, that it actually caused them harm. Okay. That harm could be reputational, material, financial. Then, if they can prove that it is well documented, that they have evidence, then ADOR is fine. They're good. But if it is vague, that's risky. Okay. Next, ADOR also has to show that they gave her ample time to actually end all the contracts that she entered into without the approval of ADOR. Okay. Because you can't expect her to end all of these contracts in 3 days or 2 days, not even in a week. You have to give her time. That could be the reason after they initially announced that they are going to get in touch with Danielle, Henny, and Minji, they were quiet for a while because they gave her time to end her contracts, the ones that she entered into without the approval of ADOR. So they need to prove that they gave her ample time and ample assistance to actually do it. Always remember that ADOR has to cover their ass. So whatever they do, it is not enough that they do enough. They have to go over and above so that when they face the court, they have complete deniability. They can clearly tell the court, we didn't just give her opportunity, we gave her plenty of opportunity and assistance that we don't even have to give her as a sign of good faith because we want to continue with the contract. Okay. And then they also have to prove that they clearly requested it, that it was documented, that it was communicated to her, and that she understood what has to be done. And a very defined deadline, of course. Okay. If, however, Daniel, for some reason, can show that the instructions weren't very clear, they set up conditions that were impossible to meet, and that bad faith timing, meaning she wasn't given enough time, then she can actually sue Adore for that. Okay. So that's on her. She has to prove no, the instruction wasn't clear. It didn't occur to me that I actually have to end the contract. Or she can say that the conditions that they set, it was just too impossible for me to meet. Or that they didn't give me enough time. They gave me 24 hours. How can I do that? Or 48 hours or whatever. Okay. So if she can show all of that, then she has a case. Third is that they need a door has to be consistent across all three members. Remember, they're dealing with three members. So whatever conditions they set for her, it has to be the same for the others. She cannot be treated differently. Otherwise, then that is breach. Because then Daniel can say, well, they gave the other 2 weeks to end all the existing contracts that they have, and they gave me one. That's unfair. It may be enough, but still not enough. It's still not fair because they gave more time to the others. Okay, so the Daniel can then argue others engaged in similar conduct but were similar conduct but were treated differently, and that is selective enforcement. So she has a chance to win that. Now, it's not totally fatal. I mean, Adore can still prove that, well, we treated her differently because of this and that, but it's a little bit more complicated. It's better if Adore can just prove that they treated all three members the same. Okay. So if, for example, um, it pushes through, if they win the case, what are the things that she needs to pay? So these are the things that HYBE could be asking for. Number one is that she needs to pay her contract. She needs to pay the fine. So it was supposed to be 7 years all the way until 2029. She's going to have to pay the remainder of her contract. Okay, I'll explain how that is going to be computed. She also needs to pay the legal fees of Adore. So remember when there was a legal battle for the validity of the exclusive contract, the decision of the court stated that the members will have to pay the legal fees of Adore. So she needs to pay that. Okay. And then whatever contract she entered into, for example, she entered into a contract with Nike directly or whatever she got paid because she was under contract with Adore, she's going to have to pay Adore all the commissions that they missed, most likely plus penalty. Okay, and then of course the damage to the brand of New Jeans and Adore. Okay, so those are the things that HYBE could be asking for. Now, there are some legal discussions on the Korean side on how they are going to compute the contract fine. Okay, how are they going to determine that? So it's probably going to be whatever earnings Adore had when they were active. So, for example, in the last three years, for example, this is just an example. If they were earning 100 million in the last, as an average in the last 2 years, so they're going to average that. So it's going to be 2 million, 100 million, so 50 million per year. The last 2 years, 100 million, so 50 million a year. Multiply that with the remainder of the contract, divided by five. The fifth is what she's going to be paying. Okay. Now, some people computed that to come to about 86 million per member for the 5-person group. because the upper end of their computation of the worth of the earnings of ADOR is about 620 billion won, or 442 million US dollars. So this is on the upper side of things. So divided by 5, about 86 million per member. So there were some write-ups stating that they could be asking for 10 million. In my opinion, that's a little too low. Um, it's less likely. The 10 million is too low for, I mean, that's, you can earn that in a single contract. You can definitely earn that in an Asian tour. So definitely not 10 million, most likely above that. Okay, another question. Will those who return have to pay a door for revenue lost because they haven't been working in the last, I don't know, 18 months, 2 years? So we don't know, but this is my guess. My guess is that that is a part of what the members negotiated, that they will not be paying any kind of fine or any kind of fees. We will return, but don't make us pay. Okay. The other is they probably negotiated for no public apology. Maybe they negotiated for some way to address the issues, but maybe no public apology. This is just me guessing. I have absolutely no basis for this. This is just my speculation. But I think this is part of what they negotiated. Okay. Now, the terms of ADOR, I think they definitely extended the contract to make up for the time lost. So they haven't been working for the last 2 years. Then if I am ADOR, I'm going to have to tell them, you're going to have to extend this contract because this is now too short. You haven't been working for 2 years. The other thing is no contact with MHJ. And now that Daniel is not going to return as a member of New Jeans, no contact with Daniel either. So those are just my guesses, just my speculation. I have no basis. So that's what's up. Those are your updates. Do you have questions? Um, all right, let me go to questions now. I think they will not pay penalties, but extend the contract. I think that is a part of what they negotiated for, definitely. Okay, let us go through some of your questions. They have to apologize to the public. Like all this is the entire industry went through, as well as all the fandom wars has been harrowing. Jesus, I agree. There might be a private. I mean, this is just me speculating. I definitely agree with you that they have to apologize. Um, but they could have negotiated for a private apology to Isle It, to Le Seraphim, everyone that they mentioned in Damaged, but probably no public apology. I could be wrong. But I agree with you. There has to be a public apology. Okay, I wonder how about what Hanny did at in the National Assembly. She is probably, I mean, if I am HYBE, that's probably one of the things that I will definitely be addressing, that you're going to have to write a statement, because you definitely damaged. That's actually one of the things that pulled HYBE into this chaos. That's one of the things, not the only thing, but it made everything, definitely made everything worse. She went there, she blasted on HYBE for apparently no reason at all. Um, the text messages were already made public. So it exposed her conversation with Min Heejin when she herself admitted that it wasn't clear, she didn't hear it, and then she changed her story. So yeah, Hanny should get perjury charges. I think so too, but that's probably something that she negotiated as well. You know, we've all made mistakes that we weren't really thinking about, like we didn't allow ourselves to realize the kind of mistake we were making. And I think that was what was happening with them. Like they knew it was wrong, they knew they weren't giving Hype a chance or whatever, but it didn't sink in until a certain time passed and until reality started catching up on them, one of which is the fines. When the court told them you're going to have to pay the legal fees, man, that's expensive. Hybe has about 15 lawyers. If each of that lawyer is charging you let's say 200 per hour. That's probably too small. Probably like $400 US dollars per hour. How many hours did they spend on this case? You're going to have to pay all of that. So 3 million easy, right? 3 million easy, and each of you will have to pay a portion of that. That's a reality check, because the court can actually go after your bank account and future earnings. So I think that's definitely what one of the things that happened. This is just an opinion, that when the fines and the enforcement caught up with them, that's when they started realizing, oh, this is not just, this is not just us being trying to get what we want. This is actually a legal procedure. These girls are very, very young, and apparently they are not going to a regular school, I think. So I don't think they knew what they were doing. Um, if psychological manipulation was involved, that kind of thing just doesn't disappear overnight. I want to know that HYBE will take safeguards regarding company and other artists. I think that's definitely a part of it. Like, counseling is definitely a part of it. Consulting a psychologist, like decompressing them, is definitely a part of it. I would demand that if I'm HYBE, if I'm ADOR, I'm going to demand that, along with them not getting in touch with Min Heejin. I'm going to demand that. Um, the other thing that you just need to prepare for is that Min Heejin is going to go on an attack again, because she's going to say that, or this poor girl, she's going to use Daniel to frame HYBE in a negative way again. She's going to victimize her and paint HYBE as an evil company. Um, so yeah, she's going to go on an offensive again. Um, so prepare for that. Uh, Daniel's mom should have known better. Yeah. I think being a former trainee of YG Entertainment and seeing the kind of career that Jenny and Lisa and Rose are having, she's probably thinking, oh, maybe that's something that my daughter can actually achieve someday. That could be speculation. Again, speculation. I don't know. I have no basis for that. It's just me guessing. I think that's probably one of the reasons she wanted to get out of the contract, because of that. Okay. Honestly, I think they need to be retrained. Probably, yeah. I mean, I probably they're gonna have to go through like the decompression period. And yes, they're gonna have to be retrained. Remember that it was Min Heejin that trained these girls. So since they were very, very young. So the kind of training apparently that she did is a little different. So definitely they're gonna have to be retrained, and they're gonna have to get into the culture of HYBE, not create their own, because essentially that's what Min Heejin did to them. Min Heejin turned these girls into little her. Like, that's why she wanted her own app, phoning. She didn't want the girls to join weavers. So like her, she wanted to be like isolated from the company, which is that is one of the classic things a narcissist does. You know this, right? I'm not saying she's a narcissist. I'm just saying that that's one of the things that a narcissist actually does. And just because you display certain characteristics of a narcissist doesn't mean you're one. Okay, we all display that. Is what differentiates us from an actual narcissist is the consistency and the habit. So, but isolating people from others, making them dependent on you and making them believe that you and you alone can do the right thing for them, that is a sign of narcissism. And that's what she did. She basically isolated the five girls from the rest and painted everybody else as evil, and made herself like the only one who knows, painted herself to be the only one who knows the right thing for the girls. Okay, the bad seed is a classic. I'm worried. Um okay, do you want to go down, baby? Okay. Say bye. Say bye to everybody. He smells good because he showered. Say bye to everybody. Okay. Okay. Do you think a part of the deal involves giving info? Oh, I've for sure. So, giving info. The question is, do you think a part of the deal is giving info on MHJ? Do you think Hanny spilled the tea? So, there were already some questions during the last hearing between Source Music and Adore. Sorry. Yeah, I think Source Music and Adore. When she was asked, do you know that the girls are going to do their guerrilla live stream on YouTube? And was it you who gave them the phone number of the person who was going to help them set them up? A lot of people noticed that kind of questioning because it assumed that they were right. They were just asking her to confirm it, right? It's a very specific information for them to ask. Were you the one who gave them a phone number of the person who helped them with the live stream? Like, how did you know that there was a person who helped them with the live stream or whatever? It could have only come from someone who knew what was really happening. So it could be that one of the girls actually said that. They gave that information. And if also, if I'm Hybe, yeah, I would definitely be asking them what happened, right? And in the statement of Adore, they did state that they found out that they were being given one-sided filtered information about Hybe that painted Hybe as a bad as the bad or Adore, sorry, as the bad company. So they confirmed that the girls are giving them information. That's a confirmation. It's in their statement. They said it, right? I showed it to you and you can check it in their X profile. They said that specifically that in the course of their conversations with the girls here. Yeah. During our conversations, Adore learned that the members had been receiving distorted and biased information for a long time, which led to many misunderstandings about the company and ultimately led to the dispute. That's obvious that the girls are telling them what happened. So, yeah, I don't think that is something that anybody can question. It's in their statement. Lawyers usually only ask questions to which they already pretty much know the answer. Daniel will think she will go solo, but her whole career is gone. Poor girls were just used as puppets. Girls turned state's evidence. Daniel was seen with a guy from YG. Yeah, I showed that earlier. So that's Sean from formerly from Junishan. They're a duo. Uh, and this is Park Bogum. Junishan actually Sean, not Junishan, but Sean, just him. He actually holds a an executive position in YG Entertainment. He is, give me 1 second, I'll give you his position. He is head of external cooperation division. That is his executive position in YG Entertainment. Okay. Looking for questions. Is that if that's the case, then you do think that they could do something about the shaman? She got the shaman involved in every decision. I think Daniel and now her mother want fame and money. MHJ went after the easy target, Daniel. Her mother buying into the MHJ lies was easy when you want attention from the bully. Daniel actually can be banned from industry if this goes wrong way and they figure out something big. Ignorance does not absolve someone from breach of contract, liability, or repayment of obligation. Um, but these girls aren't that stupid. That's what MHJ said. These girls aren't that stupid. They're very smart, she said. Okay, so Nujin's gonna be OT4. Well, Minji is still negotiating. Anything can still go wrong, or everything could go right. We don't know. But for now, they said that there are three. The three H. Herin, Hein, and Hani. Much to my disappointment. But that is a personal preference, and my preference has nothing to do with their reality. I am not Adore. I'm not from HYBE, so they make the decisions. I'm just here reacting. I wonder why Sean is trying so hard to rehabilitate her image. Why would YG really want to take on all that? Um, I don't know. The answer to that is I don't know. Now, if I'm YG, I'm going to make it clear to Daniel that if there's anything that happens, we're not going to bail you out of your contract. You're going to have to assure us that the contract that you are signing with us is rock solid, that this is airtight. But if they run after you, we're not going to pay the legal fees. I mean, YG is already having trouble financially as it is. You don't want to go against somebody like Hybe at this stage. They're going to have to cough up a lot of money, even if in the end they win. Just for example, for a wild possibility of them winning in the end, they're still going to have to front a lot of money in the beginning. That's something that they don't want to do because they're already having trouble financially. This year, 2025, is the first time they're recovering. If you would remember, they actually lost a lot of money 2023 and 2024. They had to sell businesses just so they wouldn't go under. So if I'm YG, I'm not going to waste my I'm just not going to spend now. That's me. YG could think, well, we think we're going to earn way more, so probably they're going to risk it, but okay. Fans are circulating. How does maybe YG, who was the main vocal of New Jeans, they don't have positions. Maybe YG Black Label see Daniel potential for international fans. Could be. That's a possibility. How does Hybe Adore benefit from this girls coming back though? It's their IP. So they're probably going to do everything and anything that they could to restore the image or at least come close to it. That's one. Second is that when you create this kind of buzz in the industry, at the very least, your first several comebacks will attract attention. If they play their cards right, those several comebacks, there's several few comebacks, they can make their money back 10 times, 100 times. That's one. Second is that, and probably the more important one, is that they don't want to set a precedent. They don't want other trainees or other artists to look at what New Jeans did and say, well, we could just bitch around or we can just throw tantrums and eliminate this, just terminate our contract and go off on our own. After we benefit from the resources and the networks of the company, we become popular, then we can just terminate it. So, and that's probably the more important factor in all of that. They don't want to set a precedent, so that's how they benefit. And that's a long term, like a long term vision. You don't want any artist in the future to say we can do what New Jeans did. So more than immediately recovering what they invested, not setting a precedent is very important because you want your company to be known for rules, for enforcing your contract. So yeah, and Hybe was actually able to achieve that because now the industry was actually shocked with the decision of the court because they all thought the court would side with the artist. This time they didn't. They didn't just side with the company. They dismissed all the claims of New Jeans. They just said that no, you don't do that. You don't benefit from a company and blah blah. All of that. So so now the industry is now realizing, okay, we can't use the we are we are being abused card or we are helpless artists card anymore because the court is going to look at the contract and enforce it. Okay. Fans are circulating the notion that since Daniel has double citizenship, she can sign contracts with companies outside of SK and not in breach of contract. Um, from the era, from the first gen, second gen groups like TVXQ, all Korean company contracts, it's global. So for as long as so any kind of contract you enter in any country, it has to go through the company. And HYBE wasn't the one who started it. It was SM, JYP, and YG. All of their contracts are like that. So that is one of the difficulties that CL experienced when she signed a partnership with Scooter Braun. If you would remember, she was shipped stateside by YG to try and penetrate the US market. And then Scooter Braun agreed that he was going to manage her in the US. But because her contract is global, YG wouldn't give up control. This is well documented. They talked about it. And even Scooter Braun actually talked about it. So he was having hard time because YG wouldn't let go of CL. And so his hands were tied. So no, if they have been doing it that way since 10 years ago, then every contract is global. Yeah. Okay. I heard that Hani was basically used as a pawn by Danny's mom and MHJ, especially with the fact that she isn't Korean and speaks English. She was pushed into the public a lot, instead of Danny herself. Could be. Even though she's clearly in the wrong, I still feel bad for her. She's young and got millions of dollars to pay. But I guess actions have consequences. Yeah. Actions have consequences. I mean, isn't that the greatest lesson in this entire saga, that you're going to have to follow the contract? You can't just come up with like intangible reasons to terminate a contract and make claims without any kind of basis and expect that people are just going to believe you, and it's going to be that your word is better than, weighs more than the actual contract. So I feel bad for her, but she was given enough time, I'm going to assume. That's why Adore wasn't releasing any kind of statement in the last, what, 2 to 3 weeks, because they were giving her time to terminate all the contract that she entered into, and she didn't do it. So, but yeah, I mean, I've always said that I want the best for them. I didn't want them to do it while inside, but I did want the best for them. Still do. Adore is stupid for taking them back. They will regret it. Okay, they are being nice to Daniel right now, but she is a risk. I'd be surprised if she get into that stage again. Maybe she might join movies. But I think it's still going to be under. I guess YG may think she will get a lot of attention, and if they aren't liable for anything, they get someone with a big name recognition and training for probably a low cost. Yeah, I mean, if I'm YG, for as long as I have all of those provisions in the contract that we're not going to be paying any kind of legal fee, if they go after you, that YG is not going to be involved, it's going to be you, then yes, all the upside for them. Adore made a complaint about Daniel outside activities and filed for an injunction to stop them 9 months ago. If a family member of Daniel worked against Adore like Min Heejin and there's an impending lawsuit that will be filed, Hani has no shame. She should be kicked out. Okay, let's find some questions. Do you think Adore will sue the brands she signed with? Um, they can. In my interview with a lawyer, Ken, if you go back to that, Ken Sterling, they said that usually the rule is sue everybody. Just sue everybody. A lot of the lawyers of HYBE anyway are under retainer. So just sue everybody. But if the brand contract, if the agreement states something like we we don't get into legal trouble, whatever conflict you have with your current agency will be shouldered by you, then they are safe. YG Black Label coincidence. My take is she goes to YG and joins ADP. That is not, that's not impossible because they have always positioned ADP as a project, as a project group, not really a group. That's why they call it all day project. And in the beginning, they've always said that, like, this is experimental. At any point in time, the group can actually separate girls and boys. have a feeling they might be on probation for a few months back at the door. That could be that. Yeah, that's possible. MHJ is finished with them. She used them for as long as she could. Now, no need for them. Okay. Let's look for other questions. HYBE is terminating her contract. She can go anywhere. Does Daniel have a sugar daddy willing to pay any court judgment? I don't know. She can join MHJ's company now. Well, yeah. So they terminated her contract. She can join MHJ's company. Yes. Um, it's not going to save her from the lawsuits. She can join any company now. Maybe, but if she joins a company, that means she is accepting the termination. She's not disputing it, right? Okay. Okay, so make an example out of them. I get that that does not mean the remaining group will be shelved, kind of like how Housey can't make music. Fearlane, thanks for the info and live. Thank you for watching. We must remember that this is only the start of the litigation against Daniel and others, correct? Wasn't Hanny the leader? Hopefully she lost that title if so. No, Minji is the leader. Minji was actually my bias. She was my bias. She's the oldest, and she is the leader. Was the leader? Is the leader? I don't know, but yeah, she was the leader. Do you think they will replace Daniel in New Jeans? I think if the four members come back in, it's just going to be a four-member group. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think they're going to. It's because it's one thing to have two members back, then kind of gives you the opportunity to look for other members and build a new brand. But with four, that's a group. So I think they're going to stick. This is just speculation. I think they're going to stick with four. Is it likely? Do you think there is some sort of a penalty they have to agree to? I think it's one of the things that they negotiated with. Speculation. This is just a guess. I think one of the things that knocked them out of their senses is the fact that they need to pay a lot of money as a fine. And so if I were in their position, when I go into the table to negotiate, that's the first thing that I will have to eliminate. If I go back, no paying of fees, no paying of fines. Now, it doesn't mean that they will not be paying a fine forever. If they violate the contract again, then probably, yeah. Okay. If ADOR terminates contract, does the no compete clause still be intact? No, I don't think so. I'm going to explain why. I'm not a lawyer, just want to emphasize that, but I'm going to explain why. If you're a company and you terminate her contract, you cannot impede her ability to work and earn a living for herself. So, no, it shouldn't be in place. The non-compete should not be in place. I haven't followed their fans' reaction since the last decision upholding the contract. How are they responding? As always, they're framing ADOR like one of the funny reactions to this is that, oh, even lawyers are saying this is unreasonable of HYBE, that they are breaching the contract. Second is that, oh, they're using Daniel as a sacrificial lamb. They are going to, like, because they couldn't get the four girls to apologize, they're going to use her like as a punching bag or something like that. They're talking about Daniel being the most talented of the five, that all of the viral moments of New Jeans actually was Daniel's parts. So everything that you could imagine, that you could anticipate, they're doing. So if they put NJ back on the stage, the company needs to restart them at the bottom to earn their fans and earn their place with talent and work. Daniel ranked 38, Mano ranked 51, Rose ranked number 1. Anyone knows the children's song The Wheels on the Bus? You know, the part that goes round and round and round, that ADP song? Okay. I don't know that. Can Danny sue against termination? She can file an injunction, yeah. She can sue she can sue ADOR. Yes. Just like what I discussed, yes, she has grounds if she can prove that ADOR didn't explain to her what she has to do. That's one. If she wasn't given ample time to execute the conditions, that's another. And if she can prove that the conditions that ADOR set for her, the conditions that ADOR set for her were impossible to meet, then yes, she can win this lawsuit. But yes, that she can. So here, this if Daniel can argue others engaged in similar conduct, for example, if she can prove that Minji and Hani and Herin and Heian were actually also entered into other contracts, but they weren't as um, strict, then she has a case. Herin and Hani were my favorites. You are a bunny, be a glit. Instead, we are nice. Lol, just traumatized. Adore could theoretically sue the brands, but it's unlikely unless the brands knowingly encourage Daniel to breach her contract. In practice, Adore will pursue Daniel directly for any payments. I wonder if Daniel's mom found out she's being named in the lawsuit before it went public. I think so because the stories is that she knew about it. She was in a an event. And if I'm a door, I'm going to be very careful to make sure that the parties know it first before it goes out to the media. Because you don't want the court. Always remember, they're trying to always cover their ass. So they're gonna have to do everything properly so that when they go to the court they can always prove that they did everything by the book, that they were ethical in everything that they did. Do you think a non-compete clause is monopolistic? Um, no, no, it's not. Having a business myself, I know that there are some things that I just don't want to go out about my business. And if you are holding a position that knows about those stuff, I don't want you to get those things out. So, no, I don't think it's monopolistic. If the non compete is forever, then yeah, that's monopolistic. But as a business owner, I also work my butt out to get processes in place, to get technologies in place, to get develop my own secrets to run my business and stuff. So no, for as long as it is within reason. Okay. Um. Okay. Can someone explain me what's going on with Daniel? Uh we just went through that. 30 minutes, 26 minutes. I wonder if these girls are still friends. Why not? Even if someone is worth 5 million a year in profits, if they're going to cost you 2 years of court cases and stock damages, you let them go. Not worth it. Why does Fairlane always pick the most senseless sentences to read in the world top 100 most beautiful face? Do you think Danny's mom behind the IG account could be it could or she could be one of the brains behind it? Could be. Anything is possible. But that's pure speculation. I think Adore and HYBE lawyers are really good and know exactly what outcomes they were seeking. They've been very patient and diligent so far, every step of the way. MHJ will not back Daniel. Do you agree? I don't think she will. She didn't back the girls in the termination of the contract. Right? Right? So I don't think she will back Daniel. I mean, if she signs Daniel in her company, probably one of the conditions would be that if HYBE goes after you, you will have to shoulder all the legal costs that her AOK company will not be shouldering any kind of legal fees. Okay. All right. I still have several more minutes. So do you have any other question? MHJ is already herself in deep trouble to back anyone publicly. If you are an artist, please don't get any family members involved in your career. Daniel just wastes the opportunity. She is my favorite. After what they did, nah, I'm not going to support her. Sean and Park Bogum should help their marathon bestie hikes. I don't think I don't think they have. I wouldn't put it on them. Certainly not on Park Bogum. Whatever brand deal they have with Nike, because that seems to be the brand that they are working with, or maybe I'm wrong. I'm not going to put it on Park Bogum. He's just there, most likely also fulfilling his contract. So, is there a possibility the group will be moved to another floor and possibly out of the building? That's what I'm hoping for. One of the issues that we not one of the issues, but I think one of the things that is obvious is that Big Hit is now bigger with the third group in, and all the members of and Cordis actually make their own music. The members of Cordis actually make their own music, so they need their own studio. So I think one floor won't be enough for them anymore, so they are probably going to occupy other spaces. And if ADOR is just going to have one group, then they're probably going to occupy some of the 16th floor. Does can you see any changes in their employment now? What do you mean? Does prosecutors bring perjury charges? They're not, if you're talking about the girls, they're not employees, they're talents. Does prosecutors bring perjury charges, or does HYBE have to file it? Um, the prosecutor has to, yeah, the prosecutor has to file it to the court. Perjury, yeah. They should be living in communal dorm again. Leave Bogey alone. Maybe they'd be in the basement. Okay. So that is it. I hope I was able to give you enough information. It's still progressing. It's very, very fast. And I think because it's going to be New Year, we're not going to learn a whole lot more from Adore. I think whatever we're going to be learning, it will be from the Korean media. So maybe they'll dig up some information about Daniel, about what brands Daniel is working with. Probably that will probably know in the next several days. We'll probably know a little bit more about the mother of Daniel, but I think those will come from Korean media, not necessarily um, from the from HYBE itself. I think at this stage, if I were HYBE, I would be very, very careful, because again, I want to cover my ass so that when I get to court, everything is locked. Like everything is ironed out, that I can fully without a shadow of a doubt that I did my best to make things work out. So to work things out. Still waiting on a dispatch exclusive. This new Adore CEO is good, has teeth. Yeah, yes, she is. So Hani could be charged still. I don't think they will. I mean, anybody could be charged, right? But I don't think she will be. I think that's part of the negotiations. I think that's part of the conditions. No paying of fines. No, yeah. Big Hit wouldn't fit on the top floor. The office space is smallest there. Still so funny though. Good night, everybody. Okay, good night, everybody. Thank you for being with me. I know it's so late. It's already the 29th. I will be having my live stream for my regular live stream later in the day. Thank you for joining me. And I hope you all have a good morning for some of you, afternoon for some of you. And yeah, thank you for being here. Bye, everybody.